You can run, but you can't hide. Grab your popcorn and join us for episode 4 of You.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, look a buzz.
Oh my goodness. We are officially in 2020.
Right?
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you have a happy, healthy new year. And we get started off with this episode 4. We're going to talk about all the ways that people were involved in intrusion this episode. We're going to see if we can define loyalty and maybe even have some debate about it. And we'll get into if Joe is really more good than bad. And of course, we got to get to that in spoiler guest alert. So without further ado, we're going to get to the rest of the panel. I am Taquaila Jackson. I'll be known as your plot analysis. So I'm going to be the one that's going to be the revenge. I'm going to want the bad to happen, but I'm really a good person, okay? And to my left, we'll start off with Miss Takira Chabray. She is the observant one, so she's going to catch things that we don't see firsthand.
Right.
And then last but not least is Cody. Cody is not only going to give our male perspective, but he's also going to keep us laughing during the whole time as well.
Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, what are your overall thoughts? First, Cody, we'll go with you about episode 4.
It was very suspenseful. Like I was watching it in bed and I had to stand up and I was like jumping around the room. It's like, 'cause it just, like I said before, the show gives me a lot of anxiety, but not in a bad way. It's just like when I'm watching, I'm just like, you're gonna get caught. You can't do that. Like you can't. It's like, like even when he's just in the room and anyway, it was suspenseful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I was super excited. I know somebody commented on our last after show that I gave like a snore of a demon, but I was not bored this time around. Like I'm so happy because episode 4 gave me what I needed. It pulled me back into the show.
It really did.
And I hate to say it to you guys. I have a confession. But I have binged the entire thing.
You did?
I know. But I promise, because I am a professional, I took notes on every episode, and I will not be giving any spoilers so that my notes will stay true to, even down to my predictions. Thank you,
good.
Ryan.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Even down to my predictions, they stay true to what I was thinking. But episode 4 made me do it, so it's not my fault.
See, that's what I thought too. So, Cody, I started off with Takira. You said somebody put like the snoring demons in the comments at first. I started off like, okay, so it has to, eventually get the engine running. Then I felt like Cody towards the end, like anxiety driven. I didn't know what was going to happen to Ellie. You know what? We'll get into all of that. Like I said before, guys, and all of you watching, please join us in the chat. We will run down intrusion. We'll run down a little bit about the loyalty from Storage Will. Storage Will. We'll get to see if we can define what loyalty is. And if Joe is really more good than he is bad. Yeah. Also, during the show, Takira is going to give us our special segment of a real life stalker stories. Those always freak us out. And then last but not least, we'll just kind of go over our predictions and what we think about the episode. So first, we'll get into, I just wanted to talk about technology and intrusion because there were so many ways that people were intruding into one's home with Hendy. They got into Ellie's phone with the spyware, which she thinks it was her sister and not actually Joe. And the telescope one, I'll get to that last. And then also we'll speak about how did Joe steal Hendy's stolen computer? I must have missed that. So I'll lean on you, Takira, because I'm sure you might have seen that one.
Yes, it was episode 3. It was under his bed. So remember when he was at the party with 40 and 40 acted all crazy? He stole the laptop.
Gotcha. Okay, I do remember that now.
When they used Dix as the password to get him.
Okay, now it's clear. Thank you. Always.
Keep up with the details.
Yes, you do. I appreciate that so much. So, if you can help me out, what are good reasons to track someone? Period. Whether through home invasion, computers, cell phones. Would there be a point in life that it's actually good to track somebody?
I don't really feel the need to track people. Yeah. But there are like certain people on my phone who I share my location with, and it's just like, and sometimes I'll like maybe it is a little creepy. I'll like see just like by like, what's everyone up to? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, everybody's at work. And
he says, I don't find a need to track anybody. Well, let me track everybody. It's
just for shits and gigs.
Yeah.
It's
you're not trying to harm anybody. You're not trying to plot against them.
It's like my best friends and then like my brother. And just like occasionally I'll look, but it's like other than that, it's like usually when I'm picking my brother up at the airport, he'll look at my location and be like, I just landed and you're still 20 minutes away. What's that about? I'm like,
oh yeah,
it's LAX traffic, or if you're even Burbank a little bit too. So yeah.
Like, hey, you're at Walmart. Pick me up some snacks.
There was a time with one of my friends I did like see she was she lives in San Francisco and she was at like Kaiser, and I texted her like, why are you at the hospital? What's going on? She's like, what? How? Like,
hey.
I was like, I see you at Mount Zion.
There we go. So not only is he giving us a male perspective, giving the insight to how maybe Joe even thinks.
Look, Cody started his statement saying, I don't really find a need to track people. He gave 2 examples.
Hey, Dad.
You're like the
brother
Joe
and friend.
that think he's like, I'm doing it for good reason.
That's the good Joe.
There's the good Joe.
That's Joe. You're so Joe. But in a good way, the good Joe. I think the reason, I mean, sticking to like the theme of this show, I'm like down for Joe to do it. He's doing it for a good heart. Weirdly, I work in telecommunications and IT security, so I kind of know about this stuff. So there are reasons to track people. Like, you know, like if it's criminal, if someone's safety is involved, you know, that kind of thing. I won't see too federal and FCA and all that good stuff. But for Joe, theme of the show, I feel strange. I'm not the only one, so I will confess this. I'm sticking up. I love Joe. Okay. And I'm not the only one, dang it, so I will say it loud and proud. Joe is trying. Poor thing has a heart. So that's why he's tracking people.
I give you that too. He is trying. He knows what he would originally do to be bad Joe, and then he turns into the good, he's thoughtful one too. Right, exactly. It brought up that question for me because during the holidays I was traveling, in the hotel I was staying at, the shuttle was too late by the time I got in, it didn't run, but they were like, hey, if you go to the Uber pickup, we'll order you an Uber. And I was like, I can just do that myself? Because it kind of felt odd at that time. I'm like, what? And so he was like, well, they have a contract. The hotel does have a contract after the shuttle hours end to where I don't have to pay for it. They take the fee and everything.
Oh, wow.
And I was still a little... I was like, okay, that you can take the money, that works. But then at that time, I'm like, okay, so I send it to my mom and my best friend, like, hey, this is coming from the hotel. Hopefully, I still end up there afterwards. So it made me to think while I was watching the show, like, okay, I felt like that was a good enough reason for me to allow somebody else at least track me or know where I'm going. So what other reasons might there be out there? And if you're listening and watching, and just get us in the comments and let us know some reasons why you may have tracked somebody or you want somebody to track you one way or another.
If you're a Joe or a Joette.
There we go. Joe or Joette. See, I love this panel. We always come up Storage Will, Joe or Joette. We're going to get this all together. Before we continue on, though, we're going to let Cody give us a special announcement.
Oh, yeah, guys. We just want to thank you always for helping us be the ESPN of After Talk. I know we're very excited to be here. It's always a blast. Like, we literally just said we love this panel, and we couldn't be more thankful to have our listeners and our viewers, because without you guys, it would just be us three sitting in a room talking to ourselves. So we're very thankful for all of you. Please give us a thumbs up, give us a like on our channel, on YouTube, and if you're listening on iTunes or in your car, also give us some comments, some feedback, some love. Because we all love love, right?
I like that one. That's good. Again, thanks. We'll be in the chat, in the comments, and anytime you want to chat in and join with us in the conversation, of course, give us 5 stars, comment, and we'll be sure to comment you or tell you on air. So question, when or if you're dating someone, getting to know them, would you call love and Joe dating stage already, or is that kind of like courtship?
It's courtship.
Okay, courtship, not fully commitment, dating. Like, is there a difference for that, first of all?
That's interesting.
To you?
Because, like, I feel like they're not really, like, they're dating, they're together, but, like, they don't really go on dates that we see anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like they're, like, it's like middle school. It's just, like, you are together all the
there
time.
We go.
So it's, like, you just kind of become together.
Okay.
Where it's, like, you know, it's, like, your classmate, and, like, you have, like, a crush on each other and just, like, end up being together.
That
and
works.
I feel like because they're at the store together and they're just their lives, well, he kind of, you know,
yes,
sewed their lives together.
Exactly.
But I feel like there's not really a dating thing happening with them. It's just they are what they are because of the situation.
Okay. Well, we'll keep their courtship dating status in mind. So if you were at your significant other, somebody you were speaking to, dating, courting, and you seen a telescope in their home, their apartment or wherever, and you know, go and look around to see, you can see the stars, you can see the Milky Way, the Hollywood sign from out here, whatever. But you happen to notice that you can also see your apartment. Would that freak you out, or would you just let it go by as lightly as Love did during the episode?
No, it wouldn't freak me out because I'm like, I know a lot of people that are just into stars.
Really?
But now I'm like, who are you looking at? Why are you looking at me? Who are you, like, are you looking at me? Like, it's just, especially when you're dating. Like, I love, speaking of dating, Brittany Monk in the chat. Hey,
Brittany.
Dittoed on like the whole dating and courtship thing. She shares her location. Her bestie tracks her when she's on her first date and vice versa. So that's kind of cool.
I like that idea.
I feel like maybe, Brittany or somebody else might get freaked out. I'd get freaked out now post you, 'cause, but I don't know. Would you guys?
I would.
You'd get freaked out?
I don't know. It would just some type in the back of my mind. I wouldn't let it go as lightly as Love did, but I would still be like, okay, he can at least see my apartment. I don't know. My windows probably wouldn't be up. My shades wouldn't be up as often maybe now. And, we live here in Los Angeles, so sometimes that is always a concern for me as close as our apartments are. But Cody, you want to give insight?
Yeah, I think before this show, I wouldn't have thought twice about it because I feel like no matter where you go in this city, sometimes you're like, if you're on like a rooftop or something, or you can see there is a view, you're like, oh, can I see my house from here? Like just in general, or like, so I feel like that's kind of, in general, I'd be like, oh, you could see my house from your apartment. How cool. But like the fact that there is a telescope there pointing toward my house, that's a little different. And then we also just know the premise of what's going on. So that's what makes it creepier. But I think in general, I would have been like, oh, all right, I can see my house.
All the more reason why, you guys, I said it like episode 2 and 3. I can't really remember, but I told y'all, like, Love is just like, she's like the female version of him. Like, she reads people. Like, I feel like when I saw that, I feel like she kind of in the back of her mind knew, and she's like turned on by.
Okay, that's a good point.
You
might be trying to see me at night, or
I put in my notes like she loves it. So
okay,
I said it like last episode. I'm like she reads people just like he does.
That's very true.
She's turned on by this kinky stuff.
Well, great thing about reading people, because the next part, again, just keeping their relationship so far in mind. When it came for brunch, and she didn't let Joe know that the crew was coming in. Would that in your perspective, would that make you okay during lunch? Would you still be on edge if she didn't kind of give you a heads up because you would want to know? Or was that okay? And then 2, did you like how she, like you said, Takira, played the words in, like, I didn't want you to freak out. I didn't want you to start stalking people, AKA is his world. So exactly. How did you like that setup to what she did for him?
I love the fact that Joe already knew who they were.
Yeah.
So had I not known, like, I would have been okay. I feel like I kind of blow in the wind, and if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah, I'm
like,
with you there.
It is what it is. I've been in sales a lot of my years, so I can make, I just like people. But any other person, like, yeah, dude, give me the heads up. Like, don't just bring this on me. But Joe's so much better than that, of course. Yeah. He's never surprised unless somebody he accidentally kills somebody or something. So, he doesn't typically get surprised.
Shortly, right?
But no, that'd be fine. I mean, I don't know.
I'm like a little on the fence, because I feel like sometimes if I go into a situation where I don't know how many people are going to be there, it makes me nervous, and then I guess maybe because I can be a big personality, I'm like, do I need to reel it in or just like go full force? But I think with what she did, I don't think that was so bad. I think he's a calm, collected guy, but I think if I were there, like, I'd be able to roll with him. I'm like, oh, all right, your friends are here for brunch. Yeah. Like, all right, let's do this. What a funny coincidence. That's obviously not a coincidence.
That's very true. I think I'm okay with it being the friends, because eventually that's the next step in the phase of dating. Like, and you're like, nowadays. Okay, so exactly. But when I thought about it, I was like, I think the friends would be okay. But if it was like the parents or someone, like I didn't meet her brother or someone more close-knit to her and her family, I would have been on edge at that point, because I want to come in with my best foot already. And if I'm like, this is mom and dad and brother, I'd have clammed up a little bit more. So good thing it was just friends.
Joe would have stalked them too. So it's no problem.
Even before.
Before.
Okay.
I'm like, I know all of you, and that's your friends too.
Yeah.
Like, all of this already. Funny.
Well, we'll get into the next topic about being loyal. And Well, let's start off. Do you have a definition, or what does loyalty look like to you in your lives?
Oh, it's a loaded question. I'll let you kick that off.
One of you, about?
Because it could be good or bad.
Yeah, it can be heavy.
Okay, well, if you hold on then, if you say good or bad, was it good or bad that Love did leave 40 out of the meeting Joe were dating brunch, and the way he reacted toward that made him feel left out or cause a scene? Was that dismissive of the brother-sister loyalty because they're supposed to be so close?
I don't think so. I think, well, I wasn't aware of 40's temperament in that situation until it happened, but I don't think that was wrong. That's like her friends, not him, who's already met Joe in general. And he called 40, like, referred to that as their, like, coming out party.
Right.
But, like, I think he took it a different way than it wasn't. I don't think it was malicious. But then again, the friends also kind of had something to say when he showed up and was pissy. So
yeah, that kind of are probably aware of his tantrums, I'll call them. Even though Love said that, hey, let's wait to tell him because he kind of gets a little jealous when she starts dating or her attention is pulled more to another guy than him. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So because they're supposed to have that, they're twins, and we assume that twins have that kinetic ability. And was it okay for him to then, him being 40, come in, and do you see him trying to take the relationship already away from Joe and Love, the separation being tweened?
I mean, I don't think she should have sprung that on him. So, I mean, I gotta politely disagree in that case. Like, knowing who he is. Yeah. I definitely think that she should have at least, like, included him in a way.
Oh, I see.
Because, I mean, it's almost like how would you feel if your best friend had a secret and told everyone else that's not even really, you guys aren't really friends, right? But didn't tell you. Like, it's almost like they feel like, wow, we go back, like, literally back, like, back in the womb, back, like, and you can't tell me this. Like, I don't know, but that's just me. But at the end of the day, like, I mean, it's her brother. Who cares? Like, you're a grown man.
Definitely. I agree there, definitely.
So I get that you're upset, but at some point, like, me being a married woman, I felt this transition of, you got to let family go, and your husband, spouse, significant other, partner, whomever comes first. So
it's the good part of loyalty.
Yeah, that transition it's tough, but the people that are in your lives that are difficult to cut ties with, if they love you, they'll understand. Yeah. And I think 40 loves Love and is so loyal to her, maybe in not so great and healthy ways. That's what I mean. Like, when I say it could be bad, it could be unhealthy, not really bad or good, but just unhealthy and healthy. Yeah, I think he'll be okay. Yeah. Like, it is what it is. Like, your partner comes first. Okay. So, yeah.
Well, what about the instance between, so the loyalty question actually came up when we have Storage Will and Joe, because he's like, you know, what would we do? What? Go ahead.
I just have to call them Will and Joe. Like,
Will and Joe.
I get so these things like
Will will be Will and Joe will be Joe.
Yeah, I guess so, man.
So we'll get to Will in Storage, and Joe's trying to do the good thing, and he's in his head and like, well, Will is right. If I am a good person, I will release him. But then the reverse is, how do I know you won't turn me in, you won't come after me, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So does Will owe Joe loyalty in that aspect? Is it for his life?
I think Will is his own difficult character, his own difficult person. Because you think about it, Will's not even Will. We don't even really know who he is. Right. So it's almost like they're so similar that it's almost like you become best friends because you're just like-minded. Yeah. So I feel like he does owe him in a sense of, if you want to play your cards right and get out of the cage early, then yeah, you're going to be loyal, but they're friends. Like, I so see them as being
I'm so on board with you. Yes.
Like, I feel like if Joe ever has a girlfriend problem, he like hit Will up like, man, dog, she like really made me mad. Yeah. I don't want to kill her, but like, what should I do?
Exactly.
Like, it's almost
Will's going to be the one to help him break into the house and figure out.
Chill, dude. Let the rope down. We don't need the rope this time.
Exactly.
But this is what you should really do.
Yeah.
And then if she really acts up, then get the cable ties.
There we go.
Almost like,
I love that. That's very true. Cody, do you have a perspective on if Will should give his loyalty to Joe or their relationship?
Their relationship is just so toxic just in general, but it's so weird because it's like, I guess to get out of the situation, it would be good for Will to give Joe his loyalty. However, it's like, I mean, Joe could also just kill him and be like, oh, sorry, now you're dead. But it's like, but there is nothing to stop him from being let go and him being like, yo, this guy's doing this. Can you do something about it? But then again, it seems like Storage Will wants to just he's gonna fly to the Philippines and be with his
online
quote unquote
fiance. Yeah, Gigi.
I mean, I don't think Gigi. I guess long wrapping it up. I don't think Will owes Joe his loyalty.
Okay,
but I think it's just such a many layered cake. I'm like, I don't think he owes him.
I honestly was waiting once Will walked by. I was scared for my life, for Will's life. I thought Joe was going to hit him in the back of the head or something or whatever. I didn't think he was really, this is, I was thought we were going to hear the dialogue and be like, okay, this is wrong. He's going to come after me. I'm not going to be able to run. I have to run from Candace already. And I thought, clunk, he was going to be done. So I'm glad he's out. I can't wait to see what his return looked like. And I'm totally 100% with you, Takira, that they're going to be friends. They are going to help each other out in whatever debacle of mess they get into, and I can't wait to see how that develops.
Rainy J in the chat, what's up, says, Will and Joe fit like bros. And Brady Monk agrees and says Joe picked the right identity to steal for sure. So
yeah, he definitely did.
They're shipping these besties.
Thank both for the comments. That is actually really true. I do agree. And on the last point of the loyalty spectrum, we keep seeing these flashbacks of Joe, young Joe, with his mom and dad. And we see that she abandoned him in the grocery store to leave with another guy who was not his dad. And he keeps, in his inner dialogue, is saying, he feels abandoned. And so maybe that he's looking at that love that he didn't get from his parents, from these women. That's why he goes so hard, I guess, and to try to make love work for him. But do you think, what kind of position was that, right or wrong, good or bad example of loyalty for the mom to have him lie for her, have Joe lie for her to the dad before he got burned with the cigarette butt?
I think that's a given. You don't. Like, it wasn't a good idea. Do you mean, like, for the mom to ask for the son?
For the mom to praise him for keeping the secret. Because regardless of Joe actually knowing the level of what he was getting into, he still got burnt.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Well, obviously, Joe's loyalty to his mom is unhealthy. Because, again, you're being loyal, and that's a good thing, but it's not turning... Obviously, it's not turning it for good. So, I mean, no, I think it's... Is she a prostitute? Am I the only one?
It seems like...
That was my assumption.
That was one of my notes. Was like, a hooker?
Okay. I was like, is that what's going on? Either she sleeps around because she's trying to find love and passion elsewhere because she's not getting it at home and she just has this undying need for self-gratification, or she just needs some extra cash. So I'm trying to figure that out. Maybe I'm the only one. I
assume the husband during the flashbacks, he's abusive. He's actually physically hurting Joe's mom. And so my hypothesis, I guess, is that I think she is maybe prostituting, and I think she's to get money to get her and Joe out of the situation. Because I do think there's a love for Joe.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's why Joe is loyal to his mother, because he sees the father of the boyfriend being abusive.
Yeah.
And so that's why Joe's like, all right. And then even at the end of that flashback, she's like, I'll let you in another secret. Exactly. I'm going to kill him someday.
Exactly.
And then Joe kind of little Joe has like a funny look on his face. So I feel like maybe little Joe ends up killing him.
Yeah, that
for
was
the mother.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was the prediction that I wrote down. I'm like, is this his first kill? That was my question mark.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was my question mark in my prediction. So same, ditto.
Or has helped cover up from his mom, or he witnessed it or some part and knows how to like now disguise it all or something of that nature.
Brittany Monk in the chat brought up a really interesting point since we're on moms. Says, I think the mom has some genetic issues that she may have passed down to Joe. So I didn't really think about that.
Because she has a bit of a dark side.
I do see. Yeah, good point.
Like some mental or something. I mean, it could just be, that's a really good point. Thanks for that.
That is, yeah, definitely.
Our extended panel.
Yes,
right
always. Love chatting in. Love keep the comments coming. We do definitely appreciate it. So what if the last one is going to go to between the triangle of Ellie, Delilah, and Joe? So we see Joe snap into spyware because he knows now that, or Ellie believes that it's Delilah tracking him when it's actually Joe. And she still goes to meet with Hendy. She still goes over. He's like trying to push her off. We don't know if that's the good or bad in Hendy, or if it was just his ploy for her to keep saying, no, come in, let her watch the film. We see that he ends up roofing her. So should Joe, even though he sent the pictures to Delilah, was it a part of his loyalty to protecting, or his unknown loyalty to protecting Ellie? Should have just went to Delilah and told her specifically, I have these pictures, I've seen what happened, XYZ, or just by dropping off the pictures, was that the right move for him?
No, of course not. Anything stolen is not admissible in court.
Which we find out.
Which she says, whoever did this really stepped in it.
It's horrible. But, I mean, I think we called it, Ep 2, that Ellie is his Paco. Yeah. For season 3. It's literally the same thing. Yeah. So...
Yeah,
we
said.
I'm like,
you just stressed a little, huh?
Well, that's something I see is it's kind of like the whole kind of tying together, like how there's good Joe and there's scary Joe.
Right.
But good Joe, he comes from a place where he was a child who had it rough and he couldn't control his surroundings. And I think with Paco, and similarly with Ellie, he sees that these young children are in a bad environment and he wants to do good for them, whether or not they know it.
Right.
I don't think he could have said hey, what is the sister's name?
Ellie or Delilah.
Delilah, thank you. I don't think he could just hand her the photos himself, because that just shows how deep into, I guess, the of the web he's already created for himself.
I mean, he could have easily just gave an anonymous tip where some photos might be and where a hidden room might be.
True.
And then they can find them themselves. I just don't think, obviously, he was thinking,
I thought he was going to, make copies or something and, put it back.
I thought so, too. Or we were going to find Hendy in Will's recent home in the storage, and he was going to be locked up and tortured or some way. Yeah.
That would have been...
No. That's old Joe, guy.
Oh, that's right. That's old Joe.
Well, we say that... Yeah, the old Joe. So was it that his temper when they're in the basement, because he did try to disguise himself and he thought the confession was going to be a little easier to get, but then Henderson started basically saying his own faults, but also related to Joe. Exactly. And then, there's a tussle. He didn't want Ellie to know what was going on downstairs, and we see Henderson hit his head on the wall and presumably is dead. Yeah. So is that the interlogue that Joe was going through? Do you really believe that was the good Joe, or was that the bad Joe?
Well, I think him killing Henderson was an accident. I think they were really just he was just trying not to let him escape, because he still wanted the confession or whatever. But I think it was just, I don't know if I don't think it was intentional for him to die. I do think it was yo, I'm throwing you down the stairs. You're not going anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Poor Joe just can't catch a break. He's trying so hard. So hard. I appreciate the attempt to be a great guy. He's just trying to have
dig that hole and just try to climb out of it.
So I thought when I was just listening to the dialogue, because I feel like I am in his mind with him, which the way the episode goes throughout, it just is so great. So I feel like once he took off that mask and Henderson realized oh, hey, I do know you. I see where you went. Bad Joe came back in. And I have to say that Bad Joe is bad, but it's also his habits. It's who he's been for however long now. So that's what he reverted back to. I am trying to root for his good Joe, I think, because I actually like the bad Joe, and I like to see how he does or doesn't get out of the obstacles he put himself in. But the good Joe is great self-esteem and dialogue to help you change, which I think maybe that's where Will come in. Will be that person to help him at least release it from himself so that he can actually move into being the good Joe.
So do we think that Hendy got what he deserved?
Ooh.
I want to say yes. He definitely was. He's not a good person. He's roofing little girls. Like I never want to say like death is someone deserves to die.
Right.
But I think in respect to the show, like how even in the first season when Joe he's getting rid of people because they're bad and this is what they deserve. It runs in the same theme of. When Joe picks an enemy, he picks an enemy.
He definitely does.
He's killing all the bad people. There you go.
Exactly.
I think the universe finds a way to communicate with them at their time.
Okay.
All right.
What is that? Is that
I like
right?
that. Yes. And I like how you actually put it, too.
all of my hashtag Joes and hashtag Joettes. Did Hendy deserve it? I don't know. People in the live chat. Let us know if you really have your inner
That's the one
Joe.
we're stumped on. I think that, like you said, Cody, it's not that the death. That's the part where I first was like, well, no. But it is only with underage girls. And that roofing is just completely a no. So, yeah. But also, was anybody else annoyed or find it comical with the little robot vacuum cleaner?
That's another note I have. I was like, are you kidding me with this freaking vacuum? I honestly think... Sometimes I think I get over analytical of the show and I look for these little details that I think are going to make a difference. Right. And I just thought the vacuum was so silly. Like, why is there a vacuum in your little perv palace? But like, a part of me thinks that there's I don't know if it was
that
like
there was a reason.
I think part of me feels like maybe there was like a sensor or a camera or something on the vacuum. But at the same time, it may have just been a setup for when it drives through the blood and it mixes his blood with Hendy's blood. So it could have just been an elaborate setup.
Yes.
Or a part of me when I first saw the vacuum, I was like, that vacuum's gonna fuck shit. That vacuum's gonna mess things up
completely.
And
it's okay. We'll have to rate this podcast with an E for explicit.
Sorry. They say in the show.
No, I think obviously we saw it for a reason, right? Like okay, this robot's not just randomly in this episode. So I like what you point out. Like I love they tied it back in. It's like no, it's my blood mixing with your blood. That's not what I need. That's not what I need.
And we can't have another urine accident.
Yeah,
like first
he brings up the
one.
urine.
Exactly.
No. It was hilarious. I loved it.
Like the sheer panic, like the one moment where he's not comic collected.
Oh yeah, your nose is bleeding because that's what really makes this bad.
That's
right.
Exactly.
Is like you're also bleeding.
Dripped. The last plot twist, I think it was for me, was definitely at the South Bay Festival. Everything's going great. Brother, sister bonding. He's getting to talk to the directors he needs to, but he finds someone that he makes a connection with, and it goes off to my high anxiety level where we see Amy, bombshell Amy, aka Candace. So that would lead me to the beginning where I said you can run, but you just can't hide. So what do we think Amy's coming to do and how she's going to infiltrate herself for 40 or love, or how's that going to work out?
I'm honestly really not sure. Like she pops up and it really was so random. Yeah. Because first of all, I thought 40 was about to bring a man home from the lunch table.
I got that.
I did too.
I mean, not that I'm judging whatsoever, but
no, but I was like,
he's so attractive he could go either way.
And he was, it was a little effeminate this episode.
Yeah.
And
it's very emotional.
Yeah, and but then I was like, oh, all right, it's getting a little spicy. But then it was even really spicy because it was
Candace. See these names exactly.
It's name changing. Yeah, I was trying to think like how. I mean, obviously she's there to get through them to get to him, but it's like I don't see where the connection is coming from. Like, how did she?
Yeah.
How did she?
I think
I like that. How did she?
Yeah. How did she? My notes that I had was because I think you said Ellie and Delilah were probably working for Candace the last time I think we talked, and I was like, Love knows Candace.
Yeah.
And so I was like, again, I love Love. Oh, I love Love to my soul. She is my favorite character because I know that she has so many layers that we have yet to see.
Right.
But that was the note that I thought. I was like, she knows Candace, and that's how they met.
Yeah.
I guess that would make sense that Candace like invited her. I was like, oh yeah, we're going on this trip.
Yeah, she's like, we're going to South Bay, and then it's like, oh, how convenient. How'd she get there? How'd it like? So my mind initially went to Love, that she kind of put it all together. So
I just have I thought when we said 40 was going to bring a man back or home, I kind of thought he was feeling Joe at like episode 2, maybe it was. I kind of thought that may be it.
Like that might be why he's mad.
Exactly, yeah. And maybe this new bustling relationship is going to try to compete with Love and Joe because he doesn't want Love to be that connected. And even a shout out to some of our YouTube commenters, Lena May and YT Anarchy believe that 40 killed Love's husband because of the jealousy. Yeah, because of the jealousy that he doesn't want anybody too close to her. So I thought that was a perfect prediction. So I'm like waiting to see now because I really don't know what Candace is about to do. I just can't wait for episode 5 for it to all blow up or start coming down the roller coaster ride. I'm ready to go.
That would be really cool. And
that would be.
They're both twinning like crazy to kill one another's. So like, ooh,
you mean Love and double because they're the killer
Love wants
twins.
to kill Candace.
Killer twins. I love that. Yeah,
they're crazy. I promise that something's going on. This family is insane.
They're bonkers.
I love how that just connected. Yes. Well, least before we end with our episode, we're going to take it to Takira so she can do our special segment of a real life Starkle story.
All right, let me get my creepy voice on here. This one's weird. So this one is called, I don't want to give the title because it'd give it away. Okay. I'm just going to read. So it says, I am 22 and this incident happened over a year ago. I had just moved into my first apartment and I was in the process of moving. The door that led into my apartment locks on its own when it's closed. So I was going to the entrance of the apartment, minding her own business pretty much, sat down on the bed and dropped her phone on the floor. So she was like, cool, let me pick it up. It says, I had to lie on the floor to stretch for it under the bed. I saw something that caught my eye. There was someone under my bed. My eyes widened and I choked with the urge to scream. Pretty much, she said that the person under my bed was lying still with his back towards me and his head in his chest, so I couldn't see his face. She immediately ran to the bathroom. Well, how she played it off was said, sorry, I dropped my phone. I'm just going to take a shower and I'll call you right back. So she acted like she was on the phone.
Oh, okay.
So she goes to the bathroom, locks the door. She has a window in her bathroom, crawls out the window, calls the cops, calls the boyfriend, all of this stuff. But she said only moments later, 2 cops came in holding a thin and tired looking man. His eyes looked crazy and he didn't try to get away. The police said that somehow the man had crept into her entry door while she was getting her mail and hid under her bed. The man was not trying to hurt her at the time, but she said the man that was trying to hurt me turned out to be a homeless person that was placed in a mental hospital. My boyfriend moved in to stay the next day, but she pretty much said the police, after all was said and done, told her that the man stood outside my bathroom door with one of my kitchen knives waiting for me to come out.
Oh my God.
My goodness.
Completely insane. So this man broke into her home, hid under her bed, and when she went in the bathroom, he had all intentions to kill her. But because she had a window, she was able to get out. Is that not insane?
That is insane. So it's not monsters in the closet no more. They're really under your bed. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done.
Not just dust bunnies under that bed.
But kudos for her to think smart. I don't know. I don't know. She locked herself in the bathroom, climbed out the window. Kudos for her for getting the safety. And thank you to the boyfriend for moving in afterwards.
Right?
Yes.
Real life stalker stuff.
My God.
I think I would have had to move out.
Right.
I think, that's probably true.
Anyway.
Break my lease. I got to go.
That was my thing. real life stalker-ish.
Well, thank you always for real life stalker stories. If you know of any, or if you have any that you're comfortable, willing to share, leave them in the comments, and we'll have you comment with us while we give your real life stalker story at one point in time. But last but not least, any upcoming predictions for episode 5?
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So one that is going back to that stupid vacuum. I think a part of me thinks that there's somehow that, because he even took it with him. You know what I mean? He had it in the car and then almost got busted having a bloody vacuum cleaner in his car. But a part of me thinks there's like some sort of like timer, or almost like there was a camera on it.
Yeah.
Like there's something weird about the vacuum that I'm going to hold on to that. It might just be fluffed just to do that scene.
Yeah.
But I really think that there might be something about that vacuum cleaner.
Okay.
How do you get rid of that though? That's hard.
Yeah.
My prediction that I wrote down, we already
Sorry.
we already kind of touched on like love knowing Candace. That was my prediction. I'm still sticking to my love story.
Yeah.
Pun intended. I think she is the epitome of Hen. I said it day one. I'll just roll with it.
The more you keep saying that, the more you have me waiting for it to come to fruition, especially because the way she kind of manipulated him about the brunch and how she explained her manipulation. I was like, I would believe it too. But because, yeah, exactly.
At the telescope, she was like, "Are you spying on me?" And he was like, "Yeah, so I can spy on you."
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
And it's like, okay, but I really am. So I am still holding on to Ellie and Delilah. I don't know what their part is going to be in the story. They're either going to become Ellie more than Delilah, Joe's new nemesis, or she's going to be his sidekick. It's going to be a triangle of Will. Joe and Ellie are going to be the, I don't know, you want to call them the new Power Rangers
not the trifecta, the Joe-fecta.
Joe-fecta. There we go, the Joe-fecta. So I can't wait. I can honestly say I'm proud of myself for stopping at episode 4 because that Candace introduction, I kept wanting to go on, but I'll wait till next week.
I'm weak.
And we'll wait for everyone else. Again, as always, thank you for joining in for the U panel. Catch us next Thursday, same time at 8. I am Taquela Jackson. To my left,
I am Takira Chabray. You can find me at Takira_Chabray on Instagram and Twitter, and all in your comments.
And I'm Cody Epperson. You can find me on Instagram at Cody Ep.
Again, continue to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a good week.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.